With a fleet of 88 aircraft, Lufthansa Group member Swiss International Airlines, or Swiss, is an airline with an interesting mix of aircraft. One of the more fascinating aspects of this airline's fleet is that it operates two relatively uncommon Airbus jets, the A340-300 and A220-100. The former has been written off by many airlines as outdated and inefficient, while the latter has been overshadowed by the more popular A220-300. This mostly Airbus airline has a fairly diverse fleet, and it's something we'll cover in today's video. First, let's take a look at the composition of the airline's fleet as a whole, going through every aircraft type operated by Swiss and the number listed as operational. We'll first start with Airbus. The airline has 9 of the small A220-100. Interestingly, it was the global launch customer for the type, which was known at the time as the Bombardier C Series. It's not just the Dash 100 operated by Swiss. Indeed, the carrier also operates 21 of the larger and more popular A220-300. For higher capacity intra-European services, the airline leans on its collection of A320 family aircraft. These include 11 A320ceos, 6 A320neos, 8 A321ceos, and 2 A321neos. The A320ceos have the oldest average age of all the types, nearing 22 years old at the time of making this video. On the other hand, the A320 and A321neos are the youngest, as the airline continues to swap ceos for neos as deliveries trickle in. Moving up to Airbus wide bodies, the airline has 14 A330-300s and 5 A340-300s. Having flown with Swiss exclusively since being completed by Airbus, the A340s now have an average age of nearly 19 years. The Airbus A330s, having an average age of nearly 12 years, are a solid and reliable long-haul workhorse for the airline. Unfortunately, over 1/3 of the carrier's A330 fleet is currently listed as parked, sitting in the hot and arid climate of Amman, Jordan. On the Boeing side, the airline operates just one type of Boeing aircraft, the 777-300ER. There are currently 12 of these in the fleet, something we'll examine more closely later in this video. Since examining the Swiss fleet last year on our website, we noticed that aircraft numbers have actually shrunk since July 2021. Last year, we noted that there were 92 aircraft in the fleet, however, there are now 88. The main change has to do with the retirement of older A320ceos, which went down from 21 to 15. These phase-outs actually began last summer, with 3 leaving in 2021 and 2 leaving earlier this year. However, it's worth noting that the A320s that were retired from Swiss this year haven't actually gone too far. Indeed, they now operate for leisure-focused carrier Edelweiss Air. This carrier is also based in Zurich and, like Swiss, is a member of the Lufthansa Group. With just 88 jets, the Swiss fleet is smaller than its fellow Lufthansa Group legacy carriers, Lufthansa, with 286 aircraft. However, it's still larger than fellow group member Brussels Airlines and its 40 aircraft, and Austrian with 61. As we briefly touched on earlier, Swiss, through its parent company Lufthansa Group, was one of the first airlines to order the Airbus A220, known at the time as the C Series. In fact, the carrier was the launch customer of the type, first operating the CS-100, now the A220-100, in 2016. The airline now has 30 A220s. Across both variants, Flight Radar 24 suggests that the longest routes are out of Geneva, flying to the Cypriot city of Larnaca and to the Ponta Delgada airport in the Azores archipelago. The airline unfortunately had to experience all the growing pains that can come with a brand new aircraft type entering service. Following a series of incidents, Swiss actually grounded its entire fleet of Airbus A220 aircraft for a short period of time in 2019. The multiple incidents involved Swiss's Pratt & Whitney geared turbofan engines. In one case, an A220 had to divert to Paris after flames were reportedly observed coming from the engine. Investigators even appealed to the public to help find parts that may have fallen from the aircraft at the time. Less than 2 weeks later, it was revealed that software settings might have caused the issues. Indeed, as we reported in late 2019, the problems seemed to have begun only after a software update was released. The software supposedly allowed the engine to behave in a manner that allowed for destructive vibrations. The Airbus A340 is becoming increasingly rare as a commercial passenger aircraft. The global health crisis has been a major part of this, with airlines like SAS, Iberia, and Virgin Atlantic retiring the quadjet during the pandemic. However, Swiss is still holding on to its A340s. As we already noted, Swiss currently has 5 A340-300s, all of which are active at the time of producing this video. Unsurprisingly, tasked with operating high-capacity long-haul services, you'll find the A340s flying from Zurich to cities such as Johannesburg, New York, Chicago, and Hong Kong. The airline also deploys the type to Dubai every now and then. There has been some expectation that the carrier will retire this portion of its fleet. Up until late last year, a timeframe had yet to be revealed. However, last November, Executive Traveller reported that Swiss is set to phase out its fleet of Airbus A340s sometime in 2024 or 2025 at the latest. It's interesting to note that while the airline is planning on this phase-out, it hasn't yet selected a direct replacement for the type. However, Executive Traveller notes that the airline is expected to draw from a group order placed by parent company Lufthansa Group. This could see the airline operating the Airbus A350-900 or Boeing 787-9, or both types. With the A340s currently seating 243 passengers across 3 classes, the Boeing 787-9 or A350-900 will do well as replacements for the type, even potentially offering a little more capacity. While Swiss CEO Dieter Vranckx has high praise for his fleet of A340s and their range and cargo capacity, he knows their time is limited. Speaking at an online Kappa event in November, he said, "We know that during the last 12 to 18 months, cargo has played an important role in keeping up a large degree of our intercontinental network. But I would see the period somewhere between 2024 and 2025 as the period to get them out of the fleet." But moving on from the A340s, the Swiss collection is interesting in that it is mainly Airbus, but with a single Boeing aircraft type, the 777-300ER. The Boeing 777-300ER is the airline's flagship jet and is a relatively young part of Swiss operations. The average age of these jets is just over 5 years. Having a higher capacity than the A340-300, Swiss will continue to rely on these twin jets. The airline's CEO says that it has, quote, proven an extremely efficient aircraft with really large cargo capacity. Originally anticipated to be flying with a premium economy cabin in 2021, the carrier's 777s have only recently, in the past few months, received their new seats. In late February, the airline showed off the first of the 777s equipped with premium economy. The entire 777 fleet has since been outfitted with the brand new product and is, in fact, the only aircraft type operated by Swiss to offer a premium economy cabin. Swiss Chief Commercial Officer or CCO Tamur Gudar-Zipor said in a press statement at the time, "Our Swiss Premium Economy class is a top-quality standout product against our international competitors. Our Premium Economy class should be especially appealing to travelers who have flown economy class to date and would like to enhance their in-flight comfort and convenience." This class is fairly in line with the Premium Economy experience offered by other full-service carriers. This includes access to noise-reducing headphones and a larger in-flight entertainment screen. Swiss Premium Economy passengers also receive sustainability-focused amenity kits. Provided by the Sky Supply Company, these utilize craft paper and paper pulp to cut down the use of plastics. With the ongoing replacement of its A320ceos with A320neos, combined with its aging A340s, the Swiss fleet is definitely in a transitionary period at the moment. While its narrow-body fleet is well on its way to full modernization, replacing the airline's A340s will be the next big and exciting change on the horizon. Although it's not nearly as big and exciting as fellow airline group member Lufthansa, Swiss and its collection of aircraft will definitely be worth keeping an eye on in the next 2 to 3 years. Have you flown on any of these Swiss aircraft? For you, which type is your favorite? And do you think it should go with the A350 or 787? Let us know in the comments. Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.